With Star Wars The Last Jedi now out in theaters and owning the box office and getting very mixed reviews, this movie has been very divisive, I thought it would be a good opportunity to take this time and give my list of what I thought were missed opportunities in Star Wars Episode 8 The Last Jedi. So this is my list of 7 missed opportunities from Star Wars The Last Jedi that originally started in Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. And before I get started, I just want to warn you, I'm going to be talking major spoilers about Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. So if you have not seen this movie yet, definitely go see it before you watch this video. I do not want to ruin this movie for you. My number 7 being Maz Kanata. This was a character that was first introduced in Episode 7, The Force Awakens, and there was a lot of mystery surrounding her character. She was like an old, wise character like Yoda, and yet she owned a pub type of cantina like Jabba in some sense. But she originally had Luke's old lightsaber, or Anakin's old lightsaber. And after Rey has her Force vision, she runs away. As Maz hands the lightsaber to Finn, Han Solo asks, "Where did you get that?" And Maz says, "A good story for another time." And we all thought that another time was going to be this movie. We knew that she was going to be in it. Her name was in the cast list. And she has a cameo in the movie. I wouldn't call her role a role, really. It's more of a cameo. She just makes a quick appearance. I hated the scene that she was in. It was useless. I hated how it was shot. It reminded me of Battlefront, which, not in a good way. It looked like a video game. But we all wanted her to come back and tell this story of how she found this lightsaber. Maybe we'll get it in Episode 9 because I think that's where they're going at the end of this movie and into the next one. I hope that's where they're going. And maybe I'll do a video in the future about some wild speculation about Episode 9 and where it's going. We shall see. But I still think that was a very big missed opportunity because that was something that was brought up in Episode 7 that didn't get delivered on in this movie, the sequel. Maybe we'll get it in Episode 9 because J.J. Abrams is coming back and he's like, there is still mystery to be solved here and we're going to solve it now. So we're going to have to wait and see about Maz Kanata. Number 6 is Captain Phasma. Another big missed opportunity because this character is useless yet again. She doesn't come in till well over like an hour and a half into the movie. And all she does is fight Finn and Rose a little bit. What she does in that fight scene is kind of cool, but you know, she's Captain Phasma. She is like strong. She's supposed to be like the commander of all these troops, right? And she can't take on Finn, who was originally a janitor, and his first mission, he just kind of left the First Order. She can't take him on? What? Come on. Yeah, I get it that she was like surprised, and she did kind of own Finn at first, but the way she dies was stupid. I did not like it. I hope that she comes back, but I don't think they'll bring her back because it was pretty obvious that she dies. She falls hundreds of feet into flames, an explosion, so most likely she's dead. But I thought it was a very stupid decision to already kill her off. I honestly think that the movie would have been fine without her and then bring her back in Episode 9 and then finish her off. But you know what? If they're going to bring her back, they should have done something more with her. She should have been more on the hunt for Finn and Chewie and everyone else that, you know, trapped her in the garbage compactor. Missed opportunity again. At number 5 is a pretty big disappointment because in Empire Strikes Back, we got to see this big training session with Luke and Yoda. Yeah, it was mostly physical, like running and jumping and swinging and handstands and lifting rocks. That was kind of cool. We had never really seen that before. In this one, Luke doesn't really train Rey. And when he trains her, they're very short sessions. He basically said, I think he said 3 sessions, and that's all you get. And I didn't appreciate his training. I thought it should have been more like a Rocky montage or Karate Kid or something. Something where you spend more time with those two characters training and you see Luke's frustration with how she's taking the training. Maybe she's excelling and he's like getting freaked out, like she's doing way too good right now. I gotta slow it down, otherwise she could turn out like Kylo Ren. That was a big ball drop, I thought, that they did not include much training. And the training scenes that they did played out more for comedy, especially with the reaching out, feeling the Force. You know, he gets the blade of grass or the leaf and starts tickling her hand. Just, they should have taken this more seriously, the training aspect, because that's what they did in Empire Strikes Back. I honestly thought, for sure, when they showed Luke's X-Wing in the water, that Rey was going to have to do the same thing that Luke did in Empire Strikes Back and bring out the X-Wing from the water. I thought it would have been okay. Yeah, it's very similar to Empire Strikes Back, like The Force Awakens was very similar to A New Hope, but that would have been still cool. Like, okay, I had to do this, you got to do it too. And they could have said that too. Like, you know, my old master made me do this, and I'm going to make you do it too. Pull my X-Wing out of the water. And she's going to be like, it's too big. Like, and then he shows her, it doesn't matter how big it is, you should be able to lift it. Just, you got to concentrate. I thought that the training should have been a much bigger focus in this movie, and I was very disappointed by the end of the movie that we didn't get hardly any training. Again, it's like with Luke, he just, in between movies, he's all of a sudden a master of the Force. He knows how to do everything almost. He can mind manipulate people. He can choke people with the Force. He's a really good lightsaber fighter. And in this one, you see hardly any training, and then Rey is able to lift rocks, a bunch of rocks, and she's able to fight really well. At number 4 is something that I thought was better done in The Force Awakens, and that is Poe Dameron. In Force Awakens, he was introduced as the pilot. I can fly anything, and then he's the best pilot in the Resistance, and he's taking out TIE fighters left and right, and then during the Starkiller base fight, he's the only one that takes out the oscillator from the inside. It was a great character. I thought he was going to go places. In this one, he has one really big sequence of doing good stuff as a pilot. And that's just at the beginning. Like the first 10-15 minutes is Poe Dameron and his X-Wing, which was awesome. I gotta say, that was awesome. I love how he's flying through and the TIE fighter gets like cheese grated. That was awesome. And they get to take out one of those big Star Destroyers. I forget what it was called, the Dreadnought. That was awesome. Seeing the A-Wings as well, that was really cool. I really wanted him to take that A-Wing that he was standing next to when everything is blowing up, all the ships are blowing up. I'm like, take the A-Wing, it's right next to you, it's closer, just go there. That would have been sweet. But they didn't go that way, and he was basically grounded for the entire movie, and he does nothing. Now, when I saw Luke's X-Wing, again, at the bottom of that, like, of the ocean, I thought for sure they were gonna bring that out, and Luke was gonna fly to Crate and help out the Resistance. And when he started walking out, I'm like, okay, first off, he looks weird. Maybe he's physically there, and he brought his X-Wing with the Millennium Falcon, and they just flew together. That would have been sweet, I think. And then he basically goes up to Poe Dameron like, I parked my X-Wing on the roof. Go take it and take care of the walkers with the Millennium Falcon. Things are going to get serious here. But that never happens. And Poe only serves to be like, all right, let's get out of here. He's distracting everyone, which, I got to sidetrack, the communication in this movie is awful. No one communicates anything. Laura Dern's character should have communicated to Poe or someone, being like, don't worry, we have a plan. We're going to go to this planet. We're going to get everybody off. It's okay. We have this under control. This was Princess Leia or General Leia's plan originally, so we're just following it through. It's okay. Because Poe sends Finn and Rose off on a useless mission to do the same thing, to help them out, and it doesn't work. And then when Luke shows up, he doesn't tell anybody what to do. Like, we parked the Millennium Falcon out back. Go get in it. I'll distract them and hold them off for a little bit. They have to figure it out. Like, nobody talks in this movie, and it's really frustrating. Anyway, Poe Dameron should have been given more to do. Maybe maybe there was another few ships, maybe a snow speeder or something. Not that they had snow speeders on there, and that would have been just a rehash of The Empire Strikes Back on Hoth. But some kind of ship for Poe Dameron to fly. I really wanted him in the pilot seat again, somewhere in the movie. Give him something to do, and they didn't. And that was very disappointing to me because I've said it time and time again that Wedge Antilles was an underused and underappreciated character in the original trilogy, and I have always wanted a solo movie, or just at least one movie, maybe a trilogy, the new trilogy would be awesome, but a movie about an X-Wing pilot or some rebel pilot. B-Wings would be awesome because that's my favorite ship, but something focused only on the pilots, and no Jedi are involved, maybe in the background, but the pilot is the main focus, and Poe Dameron, I thought, was a great opportunity to take in this movie, have him be more of a focus, because they introduced this movie and The Force Awakens with him, and they didn't deliver on his character, I didn't think. At my number 3, again, is something that they alluded to at the end of The Force Awakens and then just totally nope, we're not going to go that way. And that is Luke being upset about the lightsaber being given to him and having to be drawn back into this world. I didn't see him as being that upset. He was just, being selfish. He wasn't Luke. He was just withdrawn from everything and like, I don't want to deal with this. Starting with the very first scene that we see him. Rey hands him the lightsaber. He's like, what is this? Why do you have with this? And then what he does, he just kind of, it's so dumb, and he just kind of walks off. I didn't like that at all. I thought it was stupid. Yes, it was shocking, but I feel like Rian Johnson was like, okay, instead of thinking what Luke would do, what's something that nobody expects him to do? How about he just tosses it over his shoulders like he doesn't care? That was a bad choice, very bad choice. I thought in that part, he should have either just looked at it, like look back at Rey and be like, what is this? And just kind of drop it, like, I'm not getting back into this. I'm not doing this. Instead of like, and then the other version, he can still throw it, but instead he gets like really angry, like almost about to break the lightsaber. And instead of just tossing it, he like rears up and throws it out in the ocean, like out of pure anger. And then maybe later on, Rey has to go retrieve it, and that's one of her tests, because they did show a giant creature out in the water. I thought that would be a good idea to bring that creature in, and Rey is in trouble, and Luke has to save her with the Force, like he picks up the creature and splits it apart or something. I don't know. But I thought that was a huge missed opportunity of Luke just being like very angry, almost turning to the dark side. I thought for sure he was going to be choking Rey. That's what that, her out of breath, hand on the rock type of thing. I thought that's what that was going to be. It wasn't. Disappointed a little bit. But all of Luke should have been completely different. Every scene with Luke, I think, should have been different. Especially when he comes out of that dust cloud on Crate, and he's just... It was such an earthy thing to do. Just like a... I don't know. It was like him sticking his middle finger up to Kylo Ren. Like, you didn't get me. But I thought that he should have been more angry instead of just withdrawn and just kind of, I don't want to get drawn back into this. He's kind of whiny again. I thought he should have been like, no, I am not doing this. He kind of was in a way, but not enough to be more of an angry character. And everything to do with Luke finding out that Han was dead and that Leia's in trouble and his reunion with Chewie, everything was just underwhelming with his character. The most special reunion, unfortunately, was with Luke and R2-D2. It's like, hey buddy, you're back! Which I have to sidetrack right quick. They treat the droids like dogs. When BB-8 comes back and Poe Dameron's like, hey buddy! He's like actually rubbing BB-8's belly. It's so weird. I didn't like that. But again, Luke should have been more angry instead of just withdrawn and just kind of, I don't want to get back into it. He should have just been flat out like, no, I'm not doing this again. Number 2, again, is a huge disappointment for me, and that is the identity and reveal of Snoke. Snoke was introduced in The Force Awakens as this really powerful, menacing character, and like you don't know anything about this character. You know nothing. You see him talking, he's talking about the Knights of Ren, and he's like, they mentioned him like, once Snoke gets what he wants from you, he'll crush you. It's like, is he really that big? Like, what's going on? Who is this character? How did he rise to power? Where did he come from? Who is he? Nothing, absolutely nothing was talked about or revealed about this character. They only mentioned him a couple times, like, hey, it's Snoke, and yeah, you get to see him. It was great, and his death was very surprising. But again, I feel like Rian Johnson, after J.J. Abrams was like, hey, Snoke has a secret, and he comes from somewhere surprising, tell the story. It's like, no, I'm gonna kill him. I don't think we need that character. What? That was so stupid. Yes, it was shocking, and yeah, it was kind of entertaining, but there were so many missed opportunities just with that character alone and what they could have done with that character. And like, he was very calculated, and I can appreciate the fact that Kylo Ren is now the supreme leader, and he's like, he doesn't plan anything out, he's just reactive and just guns blazing, let's go and kill everybody. And Snoke is like calculated. He's like, we got to do this the right way, and we'll wipe them out in one fell stroke. It's great. I thought that he would have seen the lightsaber turning and be like, I know what you're doing, Kylo. I know what you're doing. And then maybe just as the lightsaber turns on, like, he pushes it away with the Force, or it just maybe just stays away, or the lightsaber doesn't fully activate, and he's just like, he maybe looks at Kylo like, you failed me for the last time. And then he tries to kill him, and then they both have to team up, and that's when they team up. And maybe they kill him in that fight scene or something, but I just didn't like the way that it was all handled. There was way too much mystery around his character. Why does he have that giant scar on his head? Like, we've seen that on Darth Vader before. He was burned alive. Like, where did Snoke come from? How did he rise to power? How did the New Republic not stop him from rising to power for the First Order? It didn't make sense to me. I think that there was a huge missed opportunity, and I don't even know where they could have gone really with this character, who he could have been. There were wild speculations, wild theories going on that he was Mace Windu, which I thought was actually a pretty interesting theory. But, you know, I didn't want him to be Palpatine. I did not want him to be that. Because it had just been too obvious and too just repetitive, like, he didn't really die. And balance was never really brought to the Force. I guess technically it actually was. But anyway, Snoke was a big missed opportunity. And I still completely disagree with how they killed him off and how fast they killed him off and how anticlimactic his death was. Yeah, was followed by an amazing fight scene. Also, I just want to know where he learned the Force. I don't get it. Like, he's just super powerful in the Force. He does the Force lightning really fast, faster than anyone has ever done in the history of Star Wars movies. So, yeah, where did he learn the Force? How did he come to power? Who was he, other than just being called Snoke? There was way too many questions to be answered, and then Rian Johnson just like, they're not important. Don't worry about them. Just worry about where the story's going from here. I didn't like that. And my number one missed opportunity, of course, is the reveal of Rey's parents being nobody. Nobody important. And while I can respect that, I kind of appreciate that, being like, okay, you know what? You don't have to be special. You don't have to come from somewhere special to be special in Star Wars. It's kind of a metaphor for life. Like, you don't have to come from privilege to be someone important. I like that message, but just the reveal of it was so disappointing. Like, dang it. Like, they built it up so much in The Force Awakens. So much. From the very beginning. You know, Rey even says, yeah, big secret, me too. Like, I don't even know who my family is. Like, I know all about classified. And then when one of the First Order officers was like, they were accompanied by a girl, and Kylo Ren's like, what girl? Like, this girl is important. We don't know who she is, what she's capable of, but there's a big mystery surrounding her character. Why the lightsaber was calling to her, how she's able to get the Force, and even Maz Kanata sees the importance of her character, and she says, the people you're waiting for, they're not coming back, but there's someone who could. She says Luke, but it's like maybe her parents got killed because they were important. That's what I thought. I thought it would have been really cool. And again, I still really want her to be a Kenobi because there is that thought that maybe Kylo Ren was tricking her and deceiving her. Like, your parents were just junk traders and they traded you out for drink money or something. I think that is a kind of good idea, and it just makes her character a little bit more important and special because she comes from nowhere. But he could also just be being like, you know what, you're nothing, but you're something to me, just to get at her, just to get her on his side. That's how I saw it. That's how I hope it is, because I still really, really want her to be a Kenobi, and how great would it have been had a Skywalker trained a Kenobi, but now that Skywalker's dead, it kind of makes no sense. But it was a huge letdown, and once she was first in that cave, like, show me my parents, and you see the two figures, I'm like, yes, show us. And then my heart was racing. I'm like, yo, we're gonna get to find out. And then it goes into one. I'm like, better not be Luke. And then it's revealed to be her, and it's very similar to Dagobah in the cave. And I'm like, like, okay, she's nothing, I guess. Like, maybe we'll find out later, and I guess we did in a way. But I still think it was a huge missed opportunity. And again, just Rian Johnson saying to J.J. Abrams and everybody, like, this big secret? I don't care about it. She's no one. That's how I see it. It was Rian Johnson just sticking his middle finger to the audience, be like, you know what? All that speculation and thinking you guys did and theorizing over the past 2 years, you are wasting your time because none of it's really important, even though it was made to be important. And that's my problem with it, is it's like, hey, all of this is really important in The Force Awakens, and then we get to The Last Jedi, it's like, hey, none of this is important, so why are you thinking about it? It's like, why did you introduce it in the first place to be important? And yeah, there's different directors, but J.J. Abrams was still a producer on this, I believe, so couldn't he have been like, no, wait, I'll take care of it in episode 9, just don't touch that. And if you are going to touch that, let me tell you what I think it should be. There was just miscommunication in the movie, miscommunication working on the movie. I thought that there were a lot of missed opportunities, and those are my 7 missed opportunities. There's Maz Kanata, Phasma, the training with Luke and Rey, Poe Dameron not being useful, Luke's being upset, he wasn't quite upset enough, Snoke, and then obviously Rey's parents. So what did you guys think? Was there a lot of disappointments that I might have missed? Yeah, I was disappointed in the Porgs, but that's whatever. And Finn, yeah, whatever. This didn't quite make it to my list. But all these things were introduced in episode 7 and not delivered on in this movie. And those were big. Some of them were huge, like Rey's parents and Snoke's identity. So what did you guys think? Is there anything that I missed that you guys would want to talk about? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a big old thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you hit that bell icon next to the subscribe button so you can be notified when we upload new content. Also, check out our Patreon where you can support us and get early access to videos and possibly be in a future video with yours truly. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.